a show. He's lying to all of you.
The studio froze. The audience turned. Cameras kept rolling. An old woman stood up from the crowd, her hands shaking, her voice trembling, but loud enough to cut through everything. "I said, stop the show!" The host blinked, caught off guard. "Ma'am, please sit down." "No," she shouted, pointing straight at the man on stage. "He's not who you think he is." A wave of murmurs spread across the room. The guest, well-dressed, respected, shifted in his seat, forcing a smile, trying to stay in control. "I think there's been a misunderstanding," he said calmly, but his eyes had already changed. "Where are you watching from right now? Let me know in the comments." Security began moving toward her, but something about her voice made people pause. The host raised a hand. "Wait." Curiosity had taken over. "Let her speak." The old woman stepped forward slowly, each step heavy, each breath controlled. "I didn't come here to interrupt," she said. "I came here because this man shouldn't be standing there." The audience leaned in. The guest laughed lightly. "This is ridiculous," he said. "I've never seen her before." The old woman gave a faint, tired smile. "You haven't seen me in years," she replied, "but you know exactly who I am." Silence, sharp, uncomfortable. "You changed your name," she continued, "and built a new life." Her eyes locked on his. "But you didn't change what you did." The guest's posture stiffened. "I think this is getting inappropriate," but his voice wasn't steady anymore. The old woman reached into her bag. Slowly, carefully, she pulled out a photograph, old, worn at the edges. She held it up. The camera zoomed in. Two young boys standing beside a woman, smiling, carefree. "That boy on my right," she said softly, "was my son." The studio went completely silent. "And the one standing beside him," she lifted her eyes, "was you." The guest froze, just for a moment. Then quickly, "That proves nothing," he snapped. "It proves everything," she replied, her voice stronger now. "You came into our home as his friend. You shared meals with us. You made plans together. You told him you had an idea." The audience leaned in closer. "He believed you. He trusted you." The guest shifted, uncomfortable now. "You're twisting things. My son invested everything," she continued, ignoring him. "His savings, his future, all into your so-called business." Her voice cracked, but she didn't stop. "You told him it would change his life, and it did." A pause, heavy, painful. "It destroyed it." The room tightened. "What time is it where you're watching from? Morning, afternoon, or evening? Tell me in the comments." The host looked at the guest, waiting. The guest swallowed. "That business failed," he said quickly. "That happens." "No," she said firmly. "It didn't fail. You disappeared." Silence. The words landed harder. "You withdrew the money," she continued, "and left him with nothing." Gasps, real ones now, not curiosity, shock. "My son fell into debt. He couldn't recover. He blamed himself." Her voice dropped, barely holding. "He got sick, and he died." A pause. thinking he had ruined his own life. The guest looked down, sweat forming, his confidence gone. The host leaned forward. "Sir, is there any truth to this?" The guest opened his mouth, then closed it. No answer. That silence said everything. A producer's voice echoed faintly. "Keep rolling." This was no longer just a show. This was exposure, live. The old woman lowered the photograph, tears falling freely now. "I didn't come here for sympathy," she said. "I came here so people would stop praising someone who destroys lives and walks away." The audience no longer saw a respected man. They saw the truth, uncovered, raw. Then a man in the audience stood up. "I know him," he said. Heads turned. "He did the same thing to me." Another voice followed. "And me." Then another. Murmurs turned into voices, voices into accusations. The pattern was clear now. This wasn't one story, it was many. The guest sat frozen, no defense left, no image to protect. By the next morning, the clip was everywhere. People came forward, records reopened, investigations began, and this time there was nowhere left to hide. Days later, he was arrested, charged, and held accountable, not just for one life, but for many. Meanwhile, the old woman sat quietly at home. No cameras, no noise, just stillness. For the first time in years, she felt something different. Not pain, not anger, peace. A few days later, there was a knock on her door. She opened it slowly. People stood outside, different faces, different stories, but one thing in common. "You helped us," one said. "Because of you, we spoke up," another added. Her eyes filled with tears, not from sadness, but relief. She wasn't alone, and she never truly was. Because sometimes the truth doesn't just expose one person, it frees many. The lesson: no matter how far someone runs from their past, the truth will always find its way back. If this story touched you, drop an R in the comments and follow for more powerful stories like this.